Hi everyone, this is Erin from Lady Be Collective and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today is Sunday and I thought we would talk about binge eating. And here's the thing, I know this is a really loaded topic and there's many different directions. I am not a professional when it comes to this, but I just wanted to share how I feel and what happens when I have my binge eating and kind of the source of it and what I do after it to feel better and kind of take away a lot of the guilt and shame. So for me, I have a lot of anxiety a lot of times. And even when it's not manifesting, like where I notice like it's panic or, oh, I'm feeling so anxious, my body is a lot of times just really in an anxious state. I've talked about this before with kind of having a dysregulated nervous system. So a lot of times during the day, it's more anxious for me, right? I'm more busy and I just don't probably eat as much as I should sometimes. And when it comes to later at night, when it's more quiet and I'm working on some stuff, I tend to eat more. And even more so, I've been dealing with eating in when I'm sleeping. I wouldn't say sleep eating, but eating in the middle of the night. And it's something I've suffered from for a really long time. I've tried eating small meals. I've tried eating right before I go to bed. It was just a pattern I got, and I've tried keeping water, lemon water by my bed, and nothing was really working. And so for me, it still happens. And sometimes I don't know if it's enough calories or I'm just really anxious. And I think that a lot of people have this where just they might do it in their car. And I'm not talking about purging either. I'm just talking about like how anxiety, how we come to food. It's probably a better way to say it. We go to food to kind of get that comfort. And that's what happens. And I never really talk about it, but it is part of anxiety and it is part of what I think a lot of women also do. And there's a lot of shame and guilt around it. And sometimes I'll get so nervous that I'm going to do it that I end up doing it due to a lot of the anxiety I have before bed. And again, I think it's important to acknowledge that I'm not a professional at this. There's a lot of different binging type of things, but for me, and just kind of eating late night and just probably doing it because of anxiety, not because I want to eat. So there's a difference. I want to fuel my body, but with me, especially with anxiety, if I fuel with the wrong foods, late at night the next day, I don't feel great mentally and even physically. And so if you're one of these people, I just wanted to say, I understand where you're coming from. It's really, really difficult to break. And I just thought I'd go over a few things. So for me, a lot of people say, or have told me like, meditate before bed, get comfy. Like I do all of that. So obviously getting comfortable, breathing, trying to get away from electronics. That's really hard for me. I am a TV person to go to bed. And I check my phone, but really TV kind of comforts me and I like putting on my favorite shows. But if you can do that, that will help as well. Making sure you're drinking enough fluids and eating enough calories during the day also helps, but sometimes that's just not it. And we're human and it's normal to eat late night, get up and, have food. But for me, it's consistent a lot. And I know that again, the next morning I feel the shame and the guilt, and then I don't want to eat all day, or I just want to like exercise and not eat and then kind of try to make up for it. And it's more of a roller coaster. And sometimes I'll go through periods of time and it's really good and I can have it under control just like anything else. But other times it's harder, and it's mostly due again to my patterns and my overwhelming anxiety. So again, for me, I think I've learned in the morning to kind of be like, okay, I did this. It didn't feel the greatest, but I'm not going to be hard on myself for it. And what helps me is I will get up and I like to just move my body. like just dancing around a little bit, or just like stretching, doing like neck rolls, and like just stretching your body and your legs feels so good. So for me, that's really helpful. And making myself a glass of warm tea, or if you like coffee or warm water, just something warm. It's just soothing. For me, I like the tea or water because what it does is that it hydrates you as well. And a lot of times, I know I've talked about this before, I don't hydrate as much as I should. And this just makes me feel better the next morning, just less shame about it. You know, it's one of those things that I know I shouldn't, but I think finding that comfort in hydrating, and it just feels good, and to move my body always feels good with it. And then for me, I like to drink a green juice. And I just want to disclaim this because I feel like we all have to disclaim so many things now, is that the green juice just makes me feel good. So my anxiety doesn't feel great when I eat too much of like processed or crap food. But the reality is my body wants it, and I'm not going to cut out carbs and fats and all of those things. I don't want to do that. And I just have to make sure, this is just kind of more of a side note, that I don't always eat so many of them because I will get so anxious and depressed. So drinking a green juice has so much. I get them pre-made. They just make me feel better. They actually like wake me up and give me the nutrients I need. Now again, I think it's important to recognize that with that, I will also have like a yogurt, a banana, maybe like some tuna and crackers for protein. I'm a pescatarian, so it's hard for protein, but protein's huge. So I just want to reiterate that you still need to eat the next day. And I know people say that, but you're kind of like, no, I don't want to. Or you just don't want to eat that normal breakfast or lunch or however you eat. And for me, I think there could be a medium. Like, I'm not going to go and not want to eat the whole day, but having the tea, having my green juice, and having, like I said, a yogurt and a banana or tuna and crackers, it still fuels my body. It still gives me food. And honestly, I feel better. Before, when I would just not eat all day and then eat at dinner, I thought I felt better because I wasn't really eating or drinking anything, but I felt cranky and I felt dehydrated, and I didn't realize like it was a punishment. Even though I can say, oh, I ate this many calories, or, you know, I ate too much yesterday, so it's not a big deal. Subconsciously, it was a punishment I was doing. And so I think when I didn't punish myself, but I just kind of started the day like that and started it healthier, it really, really helped just to feel better, physical, mentally. And then I didn't feel like I have to just force this big meal. And that goes both sides. And I know this is a really unpopular opinion right now, but sometimes when people are like, yeah, the next day just eat your huge breakfast or eat a ton of food, I think sometimes you're just making yourself feel better, but you're also doing what you did the night before, right? Like, you're still kind of making an excuse for that, in my opinion. So I'm not saying to not eat. Again, eat as much as you want. But if you're eating the next morning the same thing that maybe you ate or something similar, you're not going to feel good. And for me, it's about feeling good mentally and physically. It's not about counting calories. It's not about weight loss. It's not about my weight. It's about feeling good. And when you have anxiety and you have depression, especially when, for me, I get a lot of psychosomatic symptoms, and that means that you hold in your when you have emotions and you have anxiety, it comes out physically, and it is very painful. And if you've ever experienced that, it's not fun, and there's achy joints and stomach aches and headaches, and that also goes along with generalized anxiety. So when you have that all the time, it's like, I call it the anxiety flu. You just feel bad. So you do kind of have to watch how much food you take in. And trust me, I eat a lot of processed food. I mean, everyone's different with that, but I'm just saying, like, I don't cut out things. Again, with meat, I don't necessarily do red meat or chicken, but I do seafood. I'm more plant-based. That's helped me. But that for me is a lifestyle, and that goes along with a lot of, now I'm kind of digressing here, but that just goes along with a lifestyle that I want to just be more healthy in general, and not just with food, because that's kind of on this journey for me and healing and getting well, that's what works best for me and what is helpful. So I just want you to know that if you are an emotional eater, and I know you've probably done all of those things, drink more water and meditated, and I think those are all important, just but remember to show yourself some grace. And the next day, find a little routine where you just feel safe and comforted in other ways besides food. Maybe an activity, maybe a passion. And when you put yourself in those positions, then you're not getting your comfort from food in general. And again, this is if somebody is doing this like myself every day or many times a week for a significant period of time. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So I hope those tips have helped you. I know I think a lot of people do that with food, and even on the opposite end with withholding food. That used to be me when I was younger. So if you want to hear more about that and just emotional eating, let me know, comment below. Also subscribe. I talk a lot about women's mental health, women's wellness, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So I do this every week. It's usually on a Sunday. And again, I hope you're having a great Sunday. You could check out the rest of my work if you're interested. Obviously on YouTube, I have a bunch of different videos. You could also check ladybcollective.com. I have blogs and vlogs and my podcast, and I do a lot of, and my ebooks. I have a lot of ebooks on there, my clothing, and on my Instagram, I do a lot of stories so you can get insight into me. I share a lot of my writings, and it's just, for me, kind of healing from trauma and different stuff that we all needed, and kind of getting into the wellness area in different aspects. So I talk about all that primarily with women, in case maybe you didn't know or you're a first time viewer of my channel. So yes, check those out. Let me know. DM me anytime if you have questions or you just want to talk. If you want to collaborate with something, that would be great. You can go to ladybcollective.com and see that there. Or you can email me at info@ladybcollective.com. Yes, and also just check it out. I do private kind of one-on-one sessions just for mindset and perspective and just a whole bunch of different things. So I'd love for you to be a part of Lady Be Collective. I love when women can get together and just do wellness, especially with mental health. That's kind of where my strong points are, just because that's my experiences and my background. So now I'm starting to just babble and I have to go. And I hope again you're having a great day. If you're not, just take care of yourself, and tomorrow will be a new day. So again, I haven't done my cheesy background or my cheesy endings, but you are enough, you are capable, and you're worthy. And yes, it sounds cheesy, but it is so true. And I will talk to you later. Bye.